Hi, I'm Clara Pena, and my claim is that technological distractions among students are the primary cause for our nation's educational plateau. And by educational plateau, I mean how our national standardized tests have either dropped or remained the same. Basically, the SATs have dropped 4 times in the past 5 years, while the ACT scores have remained the same for the past 5 years. So with so much talk about the need for educational reform, it's really important to realize that it's really important to realize that no reform can really be achieved until these technological distractions can be removed from education. So what I did, I have 3 major technological distractions that I'm going to be talking about. And these are 1, texting, 2, social networks, and 3, iPod usage. So texting basically disrupts the student's ability to just think for themselves. We're all just focused on getting the next text message, and it's really easy to get carried away, especially in class when we're just like texting and we keep having our phone vibrate instead of listening to what the teacher is saying. Texting is actually very common in schools. In a survey that was conducted by Joel Benenson for a national organization called Common Sense Media, this organization provides information to parents about the media their children are being exposed to. And in this survey, 1,013 teens were surveyed, and 84% were found to have cell phones, and 65% out of that 84% admitted that they used them during school, with around 120 texts a week being used during class time. Another drawback from texting is that students get really used to having easy, quick access to information from text messages, so they start feeling like the teacher needs to give them information, just easy, quick responses to questions, and they start losing their critical thinking skills and their ability to find out answers on their own. Number 2, social networks actually have been found to reduce student study time. A study at Ohio State University links Facebook use, which is one of the social networks, the other ones are like MySpace, Twitter. So Facebook use has been linked with lower grades. 219 students were surveyed. Out of these, 102 were undergraduates and 117 were graduates. Out of the 219, 148 had a Facebook account. Facebook users were found to average only 1 to 5 hours a week studying, while non-users would average about 11 to 15 hours a week studying. So the less time they spent on that, the more focused they were on studying. And their GPAs also showed this in how their GPAs, Facebook users actually had a lower GPA ranging from 3.0 to 3.5, while non-users had a GPA of 3.5 to 4.0. Number 3, excessive iPod usage keeps students from absorbing information. Well, many students, especially in high school, will be walking around with their iPods and especially after class too. So this actually disrupts them from the ability to absorb information, because according to the Everything Study book, it's really important to review notes after class while the material is still fresh, because it makes you familiar with the topics and it helps you make sure your notes make sense. But instead, students are plugging in their earphones and just forgetting about their information until the day comes where they're gonna be tested on it, and they're gonna try to memorize everything, which isn't what's gonna work. So these 3 main reasons are why I think that technological distractions are the primary cause for our educational plateau.
All right, in your introduction, there's really no attention device that leads into the topic, but your proposition is very clearly stated. The contents are laid out. The supporting points, though, are not labeled as claims. They're just topic areas. And when you get to the first two of those supporting points, it stays that way. When you got to the third point, there was a declarative statement on that particular point. I thought you did have very clear signposts as you were getting to those supporting points, so we always knew where you were there. There's some background information that explains why this is important. I do think you're making some big inferences about the test scores, but you had some good information correlating, for instance, statistics with the ownership or use of Facebook pages and their grade point averages. I thought that that was probably the more convincing evidence that you had. The stuff on the iPods, for instance, may in fact be true. I like the quote that you had there, and you've got some good reasoning there. I'm not sure that it's sufficient to be convincing. The stuff about critical thinking on the first point and access to information, that's largely an assertion, and I think you need a lot more information on that point to be able to be convincing on it. You did a pretty good job citing the evidence. Again, you had maybe a couple of pieces of evidence for each of the supporting points, and I think it might need to go a little bit deeper than that. You still had some time for the presentation, so there was room to put in some additional proof, although your process, the explanations, I thought were very easy to follow. And you did a nice job presenting to the audience. It was easy to hear you, and you looked at us. You didn't read too much, so that was fine. Thank you.